I know that you've been looking at the game, and you're probably feeling a little overwhelmed, trying to figure out all the rules and specifics, and don't even know probably where to begin. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to attempt to walk you through a game of Magic the Gathering to give you kind of a little bit of baseline knowledge of how this will work and how the game plays itself. So let's start with Magic is a game between two wizards. Wizards are fighting and they're summoning spells, and all that is represented by your cards. You probably know the majority of that already. And I'm going to assume that you already have your deck. If you don't have a deck, I will have a deck breakdown video at some point to walk you through these specifics of what goes into a deck. But at this point, I'm just going to assume that someone's handed you a deck, you bought a pre-made deck, or you at least looked into how to make a deck and have a deck in your hand to play with against your friend, or you have Arena and you're just trying to learn at any rate. So what you do, if you have physical cards, you'd start with your deck and you'd shuffle it, and your opponent would shuffle their deck, and then once you're done shuffling, the common courtesy thing to do is let your opponent cut your deck. You would cut theirs to make, just for in case they were doing any weird card loading shenanigans. Then you would roll maybe a 6-sided dice, play rock, paper, scissors, Rochambeau, as long as your opponent goes first. Either way, just a way for you to pick who goes first and who goes second. And it's not that you're picking it that way, it's you get the choice. Whoever wins, say, the dice roll, gets to pick whether or not they go first or draw first, is how that's usually referred to as. And the reason it's called that is whoever goes first doesn't draw on their first turn. Whereas whoever goes draw first, they are technically playing on the back end of the first turn in response to the first guy. So or gal or what have you. Not trying to eliminate anyone from the conversation or the game. I want more players. That's why I'm doing these videos. Anyway, you draw your card. You'd have that. So let's jump into the game. I'm gonna go into a game against a bot. So ignore if you see chats at the top. Start chastising me for taking too long. It's because Wizards of the Coast are hilarious and want to have a little computer thing yell at you. So in this particular case, we're going first. It's our first go. We've drawn our 7 cards. When you draw your cards, your first opening hand, you want to make sure you have some lands. Lands correlate to different colors in Magic. I'm not going to go into all of it right now, but basically each one of these powers and lets you activate these things. See, like, let's go with this creature here, this Moorland Inquisitor. It has a summoning cost of 1 white and 1 of any. So this would be 1 white, and of course this would be 1 of any. So I couldn't play this until, say, turn 2. At any rate, I like this hand I have here. If I didn't like it, you have an option, what's called a mulligan. You could basically, you discard your entire hand, you reshuffle, go through all that again. Redraw 7 more cards. Then you pick 6 of the 7 that you like, and put this 7th one that you don't like, even if you do like it, at the bottom of your deck to kind of prevent you from keep going until you get the perfect hand. You kind of lose a card each time to prevent you from working the system. Well, alright, so let's jump into this. I'm going to try to explain through the phases of the turn, of things. I might miss some things on the first go. Like I said, this is more meant to give you a overall viewing of what's going on. I'm going to keep these cards. Yeah, I know thingy. I'm going to ignore that. Alright, so you can play 1 land per turn. So I'm going to play my 1 plains, and that's the end of my turn. I thought I had the thing set up to let me go through each of the phases. But we'll do that now on turn 2. So, the beginning of your turn, there is an upkeep phase, but if you're just learning, you don't need to worry about the upkeep phase. So you start your turn by drawing a card, like I already did, which is my plains. And then you move into what's called the main phase. And again, you don't have to remember all the specific stuff. I'm just going to teach you what goes where. And in your main phase, you can do things like play a land, or play a creature, which I'm going to do here in a second. Yeah, I'm going to do that now. Or will it end my turn? Yeah, I'm going to do it now. Then you have the opportunity to do a combat phase, I know it went through their turn really quickly, but after your main phase, you get a combat phase, which declaring attacks. So we'll get into that this time. So let's play our land on our first main phase. We now have the ability to. I I am going to move to the attack phase. I'm going to declare him as my attacker. I'm going to call him Michael the Moorland Inquisitor, and Michael's going to swing for 2 damage, and he has 2 defense, and the same with this Impassioned Orator up here. So my opponent has a creature just 2 and 2. And notice how it has the wobbly effect? That's because he just summoned that creature this turn. Every time you bring in a friend like Michael here, like when I called Michael up originally when I summoned him and was like, hey, Sparky here is talking some mad smack, and you gotta help me deal with him. Michael's like, sure, buddy, but I've been drinking last night, so it's gonna take me a minute to get myself situated. Now, with Magic, there are ways to break all of the rules that I'm telling you about. There are creatures that come in and do not have summoning sickness, but again, I'm trying to give you a baseline of how things work, and then you can kind of go from here, branch out from here, and find more information. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. If I helped you, leave me a thumbs up or whatever. So anyway, I've gone to the attack phase. Michael is going in for this swing. Now my opponent has the ability to choose whether or not they're going to block their creature, or block Michael with their creature. It doesn't look like they have, so Michael will be swinging and doing 2 damage to them, to their total of 20. You start with 20, by the way, if I didn't say that. You start with 20 life, and you're trying to whittle them down to 0. And if you get them to 0, you win. If you get to 0, you lose. That's just kind of the... Before I go to the end turn, I'm actually right now in what's called the second main phase. You can play creatures, and if you didn't play your land at the beginning of the turn, you can play your land now. It just kind of lets you do things before or after combat, or both. It's kind of just up to you. And now I'm going to kind of keep going through the game and walking you through what you can do. Because there's other things in the game besides creatures. Even though that's really all you're seeing right now is creatures. I didn't really realize that this was going to be a mirror deck. And what that means is that I'm basically playing this deck I'm playing against the exact same deck. Alright, so I'm going to play my land for the turn. I'm going to play my Impassioned Orator. Then I'm going to attack with my 2/2, because they can block and kill it with their Angel of Vitality, but their Angel of Vitality has a lot of abilities on it, which I'll get into if I need to. So I don't mind losing my Michael to that, but they didn't block with Michael with their Angels, so they're playing their Hallowed Priest. They're gaining all kinds of life because of all these abilities. And now they played what's called an enchantment on my creature, which makes it so I cannot attack or block with them. But as the saying goes, anything you can do, I can do better. So I will attack with Michael. But now I have what's called an instant. I can play it whenever. As long as well, on my turn, I can play it whenever. You can play an instant on your turn, or on your opponent's turn. There are little caveats, but I'm not going to go into all that. But essentially, I'm going to play this, which will allow me to make Michael stronger. And each of the cards will word you through how they operate within the game. A lot of it's kind of common sense. It comes down to little specifics. Like now I have to choose whether or not I want to block. I'm going to block. Oh, I can't see. Alright. Their Angel is flying. And with the flying ability, I can't block it because I have nothing that's actually flying either. It can fly right over my head. That's what it's representing in the game. There's all kinds of different abilities that have different words and abilities. I keep saying ability. At any rate, I'm not going to block anything. I'm probably going to lose this because I wasn't. Probably don't play like I play just because I'm silly. I'm going to play Sarah Angel, a very standard card in Magic. So I will attack with my Hallowed Priest, which is a 3/3, and Michael. And they will lose their Loxodon. No, they have a combat trick too, see? This is how you can catch your opponents up on some stuff. But as you can see, how Sarah, now it's a flying creature for me, and it has an ability called Vigilance, which I haven't gone into any of this. I don't know why I haven't thought of this. I play too much. I don't think about all the specific things that the new players would need to know. So I'm going to move, well no, I'm going to play that first. And gain some life. Now I'm going to move into my attack phase. Now when I attack with Michael, and with my Sarah Angel, you'll see that Michael turns on his side a little, and Sarah does not. That's called tapping. It's also what your lands do when you use them. That's how you activate your land. Man, I really should have thought this through before I just started to play a game and kind of spitball it. But we're already into it now, folks. I'm going to block that angel with my angel, and they'll just kill each other, and they both die. So I'm not going to attack, because I'm probably going to lose this game. But you go back and forth like this, and so one of you's at 0, and the other one's not. See, now I can play this combat trick, which will allow me to bring in 3/1/1 white spirit creatures. But look at all this stuff, all the life I'm gaining, and the cards I'm drawing. And see, all these little abilities, they work together and create little combos and things of that nature. And now I can block their onslaught. Even though Michael died, I can summon another Michael. And as you see, he's still been drinking, so it'll take him a minute before he can do anything. And now that we're talking about this is the second time I've played Moreland Inquisitor. You can have 4 copies of any one card in your deck. Just to kind of touch on that. Unless it's a basic land. Then you can have as many as you want. So, I am going to play that. No attacks. I'll wait until Michael's good to go to play this, which will give me all sorts of, which it will tap all of my opponent's creatures, even though they're going to be tapped now anyway. Now I get to choose. Alright, they've attacked me with all those creatures. Now I only have these 2 really that I can block with. So I will block the 2/2 or the 3/2, my 1/4, making sure that none of that 3 damage comes through. I'm going to use Michael here to block this 2/2. He'll die again, and I'm still going to take some of this damage here. Or no, I have combat tricks. Haha! I will save you, Michael. It'll be a good day once more. Not to mention his combat trick, which is already on the card itself, where I can give him what's called First Strike, which lets him do his damage first. But I figured I had options. Yeah, I'm gonna play that. The Double Strike. What a Double Strike creature will do is when we go into combat, effectively it attacks as though it has First Strike, like I just explained, and regular. So it does like twice the amount of damage you see right here, which is pretty cool. I'm going to use this combat trick because this card here has Double Strike as well. Save Michael once more. He's my homie. Come on, Michael, you can get me through this. I don't know if Michael can really get me through this, but I'm hoping. Ooh, this will help. I'm going to tap all their creatures. All my creatures now get lifelink. And what lifelink is for every point of damage that I do with each of these creatures, I will gain life. So you're about to see that that is going to be a lot, since they all have double strike now because of my cool dino here. And then they all go again, because double strike. And I'm up to 26, and they're down to 9. Ooh. A charmed stray does not like. Gonna swing with all of their goodies. I can't block with nothing. But that'll be okay. And sometimes, just a little quick strategy, I could play this plains, but then I'll have nothing in my hand. And then my opponent will know that I have nothing in my hand, so I have no options. And I have no reason to have a 10th land out. I'm going to hold this land in my hand to kind of make believe that maybe I have a combat trick or what have you, like I was showing you earlier. Swing again, so now they're like, oh no, maybe I'll have a tactical advantage. That's not what happened this time, but it gives you options. And every turn, if you're not seeing that, every turn that you go, you draw a card. I think I said that earlier. I really should have scripted this out a little better, but this is like a proto tutorial or what have you. Ooh, they're swinging with a lot. Kind of. Ooh, see, now I have a charmed stray. Go ahead and play the land. And I'll go ahead and activate him and give him first strike. Even though he didn't need it, now I'm thinking about it because of the dinosaur. You know, we all make mistakes like that, so don't kick yourself hard. When you first start playing, you're making mistakes left and right. And sometimes you won't even know they're mistakes until, you know, months later and you're playing and you go, oh man, I've been doing this wrong the entire time. Let's see, I could block, but I'm not going to. The AI here is running a little sillier than than most of your opponents would be. Play that and gain 4 more life. Actually, a lot more than 4 because, yeah. And double strikes and gaining lives. And that's the ball game. Because see, now they're -6, which means I win. And that's how you get through a game of Magic the Gathering. I know that probably did not help you grasp the totality. I don't know why I said totality, like that's, now I've said it a whole bunch of times. At any rate, that kind of gives you a start of that. I just showed you how the color white played and some of the advantages and things that you'll see if you're playing a white deck. I'm going to do some other videos like this, maybe not like this, but going into the more specific things, say, of the color advantages, and the card types, and the different formats. All these things that if you're a new player will seem very daunting and new to you. But if you're a veteran and you've made it this long, first of all, thank you, man. You're helping me, spread my channel around. And watch time is king for the algorithm. So if you haven't already, make sure to give this video the thumbs up if you think I'm helping you. Or if you just want to help a fellow Magic player out, you can always hit that subscribe button and keep seeing what I put out. Sometimes I don't always put out tutorials. Sometimes I put out new Magic the Gathering videos about the newest sets coming out. I speculate about what the future of the Magic could be. I open Magic cards on camera to show you what comes in the little packs and whatnot. At any rate, thanks for watching.